What's up guys, welcome to a brand new video. Now this is a video for my second channel. We're going to go over my champion pool, what I'm actually going to build a proper champion pool with runes, masteries, everything that I actually want to do to climb with for the end of season 6. I have a couple of accounts that I want to get to diamond now, and also one that I'm trying to push for master with as well, or just kind of improve on. But to do that I really need a champion pool, and I'm going to go over properly how you do it with this one. As I said, this is for my second channel. There is an account, like a road to masteries I'm doing on there, but I might put it on my main channel. I'm not quite sure yet, so if it turns up on my main channel, that kind of prefaces that and you know what I'm talking about. If not, then just ignore it, doesn't really matter. So you're going to see on screen right now we have champion.gg, which is a website I'm going to be using to check the stuff that I'm going to be doing anyway, and also we have a little Word document that I'm going to be moving around. So the first thing we have to do is the 5 roles, right? We need to order them in which roles are best for us. So first, personally for me, obviously AD is going to be the best, but a little space. Jungle is probably my second best, and then I think top, mid, and support are relatively... I'd actually probably put support here. I actually think I'm probably... my second best role is support, but for solo queue and ranked and stuff, support is not really that good to carry with unless you're really good with support and you play it all the time. I don't play it all the time. I'm very good in the lane phase, but after that I'm not really too sure what to do because I don't invest enough time into learning it properly. So I'm going to put support down here with the other 3 that I'm not really... even though I'm good at it, I don't think it's a good carry role, so I'm not really going to actually use that. So the next thing we need to do, AD, then obviously we have champions that we should know, what is good and what is bad and stuff. But this is champion.gg. If you don't know what this is, it's a website where it collects statistics and stuff. There are loads of these out there. Champion.gg I think is just one of the best. This is the AD carry role. So we're not gonna pick the top champions here at all. We're not gonna go purely off the win rates or anything like that. We're using it to kind of check I guess we're using it to check what we think and back it up with this stuff on here. So for example, I don't really play much Cogmore, I don't really play much Misfortune or Twitch, so these guys, even though they're in the top 4 win rate wise, I'm not really going to play them. Now Jinx I am going to play, so we'll write down the ones I actually want to play. Jinx, Jhin, Caitlyn I'm not that fussed about honestly. Ashe I could probably play a little bit of because I think the utility is really good. Ezreal, Lucian, and then we'll put some Vayne. So these are the champions that, I'm just going to skim down, see if there's any others really, but those are champions I think I want to play the most. Now having a small champion pool is best, so we're not going to be running with all 6 of these. What I'm going to do now is take these 6 and I'm going to order them in the kind of how I feel comfortable, so what I think is actually best. So first one will be Jhin, I think is probably my first. Lucian, probably second. I might even put Jinx third, actually. Ezreal was kind of even though he's one of my main champions at the moment, I'm really not feeling him at the moment. I'm in a bit of a slump with Ezreal, so I'm just kind of passing over him for other stuff, I think is fair enough to say. Ashe, and then Vayne. So this is if I had one game, right? If I was in the LCS or something stupid, and I had one game in the final, game 5, and I had to pick a champion, this would be my order of champions. This would be who I think, it would stand me the best chance of winning. Jhin, Lucian, Jinx, Ezreal, then Ashe, then Vayne. So that's going to be my order of stuff. This will be for example, obviously these ones at the front here will be playing more than the ones that will be playing at the end. Now normally you guys should probably have 2 or 3. I've been playing AD carry for 4 or 5 years now, so I think you can have a bigger pool when you've been playing these champions just for years anyway. Even though for me, I'm not trying to be cocky or anything, it's just experience, but I think even for me, I would rather limit it down a bit more. So I'd probably say, for an AD carry role, we could go for these 3 maybe as my main ones here, and then go for these after. Vayne is a little bit of an exception because sometimes I'm just really in the mood to play Vayne and I want to play her. This is probably not the best thing ever, but it's these 3 are going to be my ones that I play the most. These 3 will be the ones, my backup ones, okay? So then we have to move on to our second role. Really, you should have a main role, and then we should have a secondary. Obviously, in ranked, you pick a main and secondary. So these will be the ones you play most of the time. These 3 here are kind of our backup roles. So jungle is next, so we go back onto champion.gg, click on jungle and the highest win rate. This is just what I'm doing, just to check what I actually play. So you can do this 2 ways. You could either write down the champions that you like and then back them up with champion.gg, or you can go down the win rates and just look at them and think, okay, yeah, I can play this champion. Yes, I can play this champion, and kind of go down and just look at them. Now, the thing is with this, you have to remember, it's not all about win rates, because if you click on the play percentage here to filter by that, Lee Sin has a 48% win rate, whereas he's actually probably one of my best junglers. And I think if you're good with Lee, obviously you can carry quite well. So these guys are played all the time, and the higher percentage they're played, normally the lower the win rate they have. So it might not... Oh god, the sun just went in. That's not good. That's not good. Now I'm going to look really, really dark. It's really sunny outside. There was just changed like all of a sudden. Hang on, let me turn the light on. Wait. Fucking troll British weather. Why would you do that to me? Yeah, so obviously these guys at the top I think are really good still, and people are playing them a lot, which is obviously why. But they're gonna not have like the win rates that, you know, really reflect it, I guess. So for me, I'm just gonna write down a few champions that I think, you know, I'm actually good with and that I enjoy playing. Jungle is a very diverse role, so you could have like literally anything in here and you could still pull it off quite well, I think. I'm just trying to have a think of what I actually want to play more regularly. So Nocturne is one I'm kind of considering. Mumu is another one that I don't. So we'll go into that in a second, actually. Graves, I should probably practice a bit more. Zac is okay. Elise is quite good. Elise is quite good. She's very strong right now, I think. But even if she doesn't have the win rate necessary to reflect it. Because she's kind of like hit or miss. She's very good or very bad, I guess. I'm probably going to leave it at that. I don't want to have like a massive pull for jungle when it's my secondary role. Because like my main role, I play these champions all the time. I'm in that role all the time. I learn the matchups just from playing against them. Jungle's a bit different. I don't really want to get caught off guard so much. So it would kind of go like this, I think. We'd have our top 2 now instead of top 3. And then we'd have 2 kind of backup junglers as well. Now this Mumu is something a bit different because I'm good with Mumu. And Mumu is like a very good champion right now. But I don't find him that fun. So this is kind of like, if I was desperate to climb, I would play him all the time. But because I'm not necessarily desperate, like that desperate, it's kind of, I mean, he's a really good tank, right? But he's kind of boring, in my opinion. So I don't want to play him necessarily because if I play something I get bored with all the time, it's not really going to work. And then finally, we're going to go into these ones. So if I ever change over to these roles for whatever reason, we need to kind of have some kind of backup. So we'll go back to champion.gg again here. We're going to get into builds and everything after in a sec. This isn't just what it's going to be, by the way, just in case you're thinking that. But we'll just go like this, I guess. So support, you really, by the way, don't go by the win rate. It's like, I don't play Xerath, I don't play passive support. So even though these guys are overpowered here, I'm not going to be playing these guys. Like, I could play Thresh. I'm quite a good Thresh player, I guess. Alistar as well. Thresh and Alistar are probably going to be my like go-to champions here, playmaking supports. That's really what I'm good at, so we have that sorted out. If we go on to this one, this is the top lane. I'm gonna think just off the top of my head, I would play a lot. Kennen is an interesting one because I played a lot of Kennen in the past, but haven't played them for quite a while. Probably like Renekton actually. So Gnar and Renekton I think are probably good to start with for now. Again, I'm not really going to play these lanes very often, so it doesn't matter too much. It's just having them in the backup so that if I ever, you know, get put into a situation where I am playing them, if I auto-filled or anything like that, then, you know, I actually have a chance. Still, I know I'm going to play and I should have stuff ready for that. So, Xerath, I love playing. Probably Ari or Nivea. I'm going to put down 3 here because it depends on like the type of game. Xerath's a kind of a pocket pick. He's only good in certain situations. Ari and Nivea are kind of well-rounded, so they're going to be good on everything. So this is actually like my champion pool now sorted for Season 6. This is kind of how you actually do it. Hopefully you guys understand. You just look at the win rates like to reflect kind of what you're playing already. Don't let win rates just dictate everything, because if you play something in your main and it's got a poor win rate, it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. So don't worry about that. It's just more of the kind of thing of like, you want to back up what you want to play with what's good right now. If you can mesh the two together, that's perfect. So like, for example, Jhin and Jinx like are good win rates ADs, and I'm good with them, so that's a perfect fit, right? Whereas something like Ezreal, for example, has a bad win rate but played all the time, so you can't really go with that. Kalista, even if I was a god Kalista, she had a bad win rate, so like, you know, that's where I'm making my life a bit harder, but I could still do it, I guess. So now we've actually got that. We have another website. So this is op.gg. You can't actually see this because I've cut the top out, but this is op.gg. This is going on the champion analytics page. So if you go on the home page, let's show you this. This is what it looks like for me today. It changes all the time. Go on champion analytics and you can see every single champion. This is for the EUS region at the moment. So you can see like who is the best win rates and stuff. This is very like hit and miss because, for example, these champions have very low play rates. So even though, you know, Urgot like probably has less than a 1% play rate or something. So even though he's showing up as like top 5 in the win rate, doesn't really have much of a filter. So I wouldn't necessarily take these as like gospel or anything like this. What we're actually doing on here is going for the builds. So this is the second part of this whole thing, is having a build and everything like ready, perfect for this guy. So I don't need to do this necessarily for mine right now because I've already done this, but I'm going to show you how I do it for a few champions just to give you an idea. So if we have a look at Jin, for example, okay, Jin is going to be one of my most paid AD carries, so I need to have a specific set of runes, masteries, and item sets ready to go. So this is where we have a look on op.gg. You can see all the stats and stuff. This is something as well you should look at, win rate by game length. I'm going to probably go into another video, but it tells you roughly whether champion is good and bad. It's not the gospel, but it's just giving you an idea. Like, look, if you look, Jin is stronger early and then he kind of falls off a little bit. So you want to push your lead when you're ahead, right? That kind of thing. Anyway, so this is the core build. Show you the first 3 items, what most people were getting. It can kind of help you decide what you want to do. But personally, I will just like go with what I think because I play Jin a lot of the time. This is personally because I play them all the time. If you aren't sure, you're still learning a champion, this is a really good place to start. And if we have a look, like summoner spell, the items, what we're actually looking for here are the items, the boot choices, because that's something kind of hard to actually find out, and then the runes and masteries. So these are masteries here, Deathfire Touch, and the most, you can check the win rates below them. This is here, so arm penetration, magic resist, armor, and AD. So most people actually just use, you know, full AD. I already got a 51% win rate, almost 52. This is a 55. So you can tell from this is the kind of thing where, like, when I'm doing my best champion videos and I suggest a set of runes that's not standard, this is why I'm suggesting it, right? I will try these runes out first. This is what I use anyway. But so then what I would do is go onto here, champion.gg, and I would type in here Jin, and I will check on this website as well to see what people are building on this one. So build wise is going to be the same as op.gg, so it should be a good like core, I guess, for this is by the way what I build actually right now. I think this is the best, so that gives you an idea. It gives you an idea of skill order, what you start with, and runes here. Arm pen, this is a bit different because it has some scaling cooldown reduction in it. Now in my opinion that's kind of weird. I don't really know. I mean, I guess you can get away with that. You don't really need magic resist because you're sitting quite far back, I guess, so you can do this, but you have to also look at these only have 221 games. So this has 6,000, a much higher sample size on this set of runes than this set. If this is another thing, if we look back on the gym page here with this rune, this has like 12% of players are using this. There's actually a very high sample size for this one. These are only platinum above, by the way, as well. So I'm going to go into that in a second. But now what I would do, for example, is I would load up my my league. Okay, we're going to try this, and I'm going to try and see if this works. Now, I don't actually know entirely if this is going to work because, okay, this seems to be good. So what I would do is I would go onto my masteries and I will, okay, I have a lot of mastery pages and stuff, but I would make a new one basically. Okay, we'll just make a new one for why not. We make a new one and we would go onto what the gym was before, so what everybody has been saying to use on these websites, and use this and try it out. So we'd go into Vampirism, this one, down to Deathfire, which is there, and then we'd go over. I'm just copying off the website right now. So this gives you a basis, okay? You don't have to copy this word for word, but this is like the highest win percentage one on the other. They've actually got a presser there. The highest win percentage on op.gg and champion.gg. So you have like some statistics or some backup to what you're actually going to pick from a mastery page. Now you'd call this like Jin, for example. So this is Jin's page now. If we go into runes, I actually already have a page set up for this because I've looked at before. This is the same page as what the highest win percentage page is on Jin. As I said, I've already done it. So I would just go in here and make a page. I know I have 12 pages. I know some of you guys are only going to have 1 or 2. If you only have 1 or 2 and you're going to main something like this, you can either change one of the pages or you can just like go with a very standard set. Like you can still get AD reds, armor yellows, magic resist blues, and like attack speed quints, for example, on Jin, and it will do okay. Not optimal, but it's not like bad either. You're still going to be doing decently with it. It's like, it might help you. It will help you win having an optimal set of runes, but you know, it's not the end of the world. So this is what you can do ideally though. You go in, you make a rune page, you make a mastery page, and you make an item set build. Like with the build, for example, I'm actually going to minimize this for now. We're going to go back onto our, why is that not come back up? Ah, I hate OBS. Alright, I'm going to have to go in here, I think, and, just try and load up. Why? Why are you not letting me have the website? Please, I just want to have the website. Yeah, so You go down and basically do this for everybody. Oh, is it going to let me have a website? Nope. Okay, now there we go. So you'd go in and do this for practically every champion that you have on this list, and you'd go down and you'd write something like, okay, so here, you know, you can either write down the build, or when you're going into game, another way of doing it, like the Runes Masteries you have to have done before, right? But when you're going into game, you can just load up this page on your other monitor or just before and just check the build. So you know what you're going to build, or like why they're going to build it. This is a very standard build, and this is like what is good across a sample of games, but it might not be specific to you. If you're against a really heavy tank, for example, on this build, I'd swap out the rapid fire cannon here, get rid of this, and swap the last whisper in, because you need to get through the tank. So I would like say that that is normally the right build, but like they can change, for example. But this kind of gives you an idea of what you would do. I'm now going to put that into a better graphic for the series that we're doing, so I can like have this on the screen as we're loading in, so I can have like a mental note. But this now just basically encourages you guys to pick your best champions. Like, you can't just think, oh, I kind of fancy playing some Tristan today, and then you look at your list and you're like, yeah, I don't really have Tristan on there, she's not one of my best champions, so maybe I should stick with, you know, Jhin or Lucian or Jinx. And that will give you an idea. You have basically everything you need now from this video to go into a game and completely set it up, like perfectly get into game and know what you're going to do. So hopefully you found this video useful. It ended up being a lot longer than I expected. Have no idea if it's going up on my main channel or not. But this, I think, is kind of useful because a lot of people don't know how to do this necessarily. And I just kind of wanted to show you guys how you do that. One thing I am going to say just very quickly. This is on EU West, by the way, op.gg. You can change it for anything. But this, if you click onto... Oh, bugger off. If you click onto the last 7 days, you go on statistics at the very top. Click on the last 7 days. You can see what is good for your specific role, specific league, sorry. So bronze, for example, Rumble actually has the highest win rate over the last 7 days. And Mumu is obviously just a king, and you have these guys coming down. So you can see here what is good for each elo, and like these websites are good for in general because like champion.gg and stuff will show you everything, but they are plat and above based stats. So I guess for a bronze player it's not as relevant. This is why in my videos I try and say, hey, look, this is good for low elo, this is good for high elo, because there is a difference. This is how, one of the ways I do check it. It's not the way, but it's one of the ways that I kind of quickly check things. So you can see like a Mumu, for example, is just really, really good. Even though he's kind of like, you know, top 10 on these other websites for the jungle, he's actually probably like #1 at lower ranks for the jungle. So he'll be a really good champion to pick up. I don't know if you guys are going to use this majorly, but hopefully you guys can kind of like use all of this information and build your own pools and actually get prepared before you go into a game. That's the idea. I hope you guys enjoyed the video though. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover off. I'm gonna like get this made into a graphic for the series, which will be cool, and hopefully we'll be taking that a bit more seriously now we have a proper champion pool and we know where we're gonna go with it. But yeah, if you have any questions and stuff, leave them in the comments. I'll make sure I answer all of you guys. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's video.